already jammed.
Or another cup of coffee and watch it all crash and burn. Hunter, finish the milk. It's a puzzle, it's a maze. I try to steer through it a million ways, but each day.
That is one of the fantastic songs from a very well-known show, winner of the Grammy Award, the Olivier Award, and count them six Tony Awards, including Best Show, is in Hartford this week. The Bushnell is playing host to Dear Evan Hansen. It is a wonderful show, and we have a couple of the stars. I want you to say hello to Alessandro Costantini and also Ciara, Alyse Harris. They play Jared and Alana, respectively. I think you can tell which one is which. Good to have you aboard, both of you. Thank you for joining us. You guys opened up last night at the Bushnell. I always ask this question of guests when they're visiting us for a week. Do you know what city you're in?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's all, just to see if they're awake. This is an interesting story. This is based on a true story of the author of the story, and I want to get this correct, who the lyricist who, after a high school classmate died of a drug overdose, witnessed classmates tell false stories of that kid, and it became the theme of, it's a serious show, but it's almost like a dramedy. Would you say?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it deals with a lot of heavy subject matter, but I think it does so with a lot of levity, and it really creates space for people to sort of access those themes in a way that's not just a lot of heaviness.
Right. Yeah.
And we're the comedy, the two of us.
Yeah. You guys really are. I was likening you two, when I knew that I was going to interview you two, you guys are kind of like the devil and the angel that sits on Evan Hansen's shoulders. Good? You're going to take that, aren't you? You're going to steal that for the next interview.
Who's the devil, who's the angel?
I'll let the audience decide that. Ciara, talk about this, how Evan Hansen just gets caught in a big lie that he just kept spinning and spinning and spinning, and that's the main core of the show.
Yeah, essentially it's this story about this person who tells this really big lie and the things that they do in order to keep it going because of the result of it, and how it actually brings them all this love and humanity and allows them to see themselves the way that they want to be seen, and how we all kind of play into this lie. And it kind of challenges the audience to not only be like, okay, how could this happen, but also put themselves in that place, because they tend to sympathize with him and everyone else around this lie. And we get to see kind of how that plays out, and as we, the audience members, having an opinion about it and not having an opinion about it as well.
Yeah, I took my 15-year-old high school daughter with me as my date last night, and there was a lot that she was identifying with in terms of the social status quo of high schoolers, and that plays a very big part in this. It's almost like the suicide takes a back seat to other themes. Jared, Jared's role is as the family friend of Evan Hansen. Alessandro, you kind of, as you said, you play a little comic relief to this as a kind of just a voice of reason sometimes, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jared is the accomplice in fabricating the narrative around Connor, and but he does do it with some love and some joy and some laughter.
Yeah, which is tough to find when you're talking about parents who are grieving the loss, a sister grieving, and you kind of find a way as the audience, you see this spinning somewhat out of control, and you go, wow, what is going to happen to these characters? Because it is some deep stuff, right?
Indeed, and I think this story really creates space for parents, young people, to kind of identify themselves and see themselves reflected in the narrative, and that's what's been so great about doing the show all across the country, is that we get messages from not just young people, but parents, grandparents, folks who see the show and tell us that it's sort of allowed them to start conversations with their families about some of the themes about mental health and how it affects them.
And everybody has a place in this world, which is exactly what my daughter and I were talking about. on the ride home. It is a wonderful show. Again, it has won a number of Tonys, and as the national run continues, it's because of these two stars, two of the 8 on stage. Just a phenomenal show. Alessandro Costantini and Ciara Alyse Harris, who, by the way, is the daughter of former Major League Baseball player Lenny Harris. How did he give you any advice for being on stage as opposed to banging them out in a stadium?
Yeah, kind of a lot of confidence, a lot of believing in myself. He's used to kind of being in the center, coming in when people need him. Yeah, our careers parallel in a lot of ways.
Good.
I will say.
Excellent.
He hits home runs every night.
and so do you too. TheBushnell.org if you want tickets. They are available. Dear Evan Hansen runs through the weekend. Thanks for joining us today.